A wonderful goal by Dougie Freedman.
If we talked about your whole Palace career, we'd be here about 3 hours, so we'll save some of the other nice bits for when we've got more fancy cameras around. So let's talk about the 3 games that we've shown. So the Man United Carling Cup game as manager, the Hillsborough game as assistant manager, and the Stockport County game as a player. So just to give a bit of background for those watching that weren't around back then in 2001, what was your journey before that? Because you'd been at Palace, which is when I remember you most actually, in the first period, 95 to 97. How did it come about you moving to Palace in the first place?
I had to leave Queen's Park Rangers the year before, who were in the Premier League, at top of the Premier League, in fact, in the top 3 or 4. And I then went to Barnet to get football. At this particular time, Les Ferdinand, Bradley Allen, were in the team at QPR. Kevin Gallen was behind us. So I went to Barnet, went down there for a year, loved it, scored a lot of goals. And then I got a phone call, just literally, back in the time, Chris, there wasn't any mobile phones, mate. So I was living in Diggs. So I got a call in the Diggs, roughly about 11 o'clock at night, from the Barnet chairman, just said, we've sold you to Crystal Palace. Just as simple as that. And I says, right. He said, someone's going to call you back in 10 minutes. And he said, good luck. Very, very simple. So just previous to that, I'd turned down a few offers to go back into the Premier League. At Everton, at Tottenham, the Terry Venables, because I just come from QPR when I wasn't playing. I just loved playing. So I looked at Crystal Palace, who were kind of at that particular time a little bit yo-yo. They just get relegated, and I felt that that's a good opportunity for me to play. 10 minutes later, Ron Rhodes calls me. He says, be at this address tomorrow at 9:30 and we can talk about your career and what it looks like. It's very, very simple. So at the time, I had a 1.1 Fiesta. So I'm driving from Shepherd's Bush down to Croydon, which would take about 3 hours, which I didn't know about the traffic at that time. So the time I got there was about 10:30. Ron Rhodes said to me, first ever quote he said to me, he said, you're late, it's 10:30, what do you call this? And I said to him, you're lucky I'm here. And I quickly backtracked and said to him, because of the traffic. And I was trying to make up all these excuses of the traffic. So 10:30, got there late, and that was it. It just taken off. Stevie Coppell was around, but Ray Lou, Peter Nicholas was the managers. Let's see, as soon as I spoke to him, I just give me the pen, I'm signing. I just loved really what they were all about, and the characters that were in the sort of team at the time. I'd known all of them, and it just felt really easy. I played. Me and Gareth Taylor came roughly the same time. Ray Lewington was there as the coach, very, very good coach, and I don't know if I hit the ground running, because you know what I'm like, mate. My memory's not great, and I don't really look back too often. But I just remember being very comfortable in the surroundings and the environment that was created. Stevie Cup was always doing his jobs around the pitch. I think at the time he was sporting director or director of football. I just remember seeing this little guy who everybody knew running around the pitch during training. And it just felt very easy. Scored a few goals that season. Disappointing end because we lost in the final. And then they carried on to the second year. We got promotion that year again. Did a little bit of a stop-start season through injury, not getting back in the team. Ended up getting to the final. I'm sure everyone remembers David Hopkin, which I actually didn't play. In fact, David Hopkin, last minute. It was very good. And that particular time, I was getting offered a contract as soon as we got that summer. So I was negotiating a contract the whole summer. Didn't have an agent, never dealt with agents, and I was meeting Ron Rhodes at the time. And as I was going through that contract negotiation, when I say negotiation, he was offering, and I was accepting or not. It wasn't a negotiation. I was seeing players coming in. Lombardo come in, wonderful player, probably the best player I've ever played with. David Hopkin was leaving, and it was difficult for me to accept this. These were good friends. And let's say 3 or 4 games into the season, Ron Rhodes picked up the phone. In fact, it was Stevie Coppell picked up the phone. Now, by this time, I've got a mobile phone, Chris, about 97, 98, and he said, we've just sold you to Wolves. Just like that. Just like that. You know, it's back in that day. It's crazy when you think of it, just like that. And you say, okay. Again, you get a call in 10 minutes. Mark McGee picked up the phone. I went and spoke to him. And I went and signed. Wrong decision. Many times I've made difficult, wrong decisions, and it's turned out not to be great, and that was one of them.
Yeah, so in that time that you were away, so you went to Wolves and then you were at Forest, there was loads going on back at Palace. We got bought out by Mark Goldberg, went into administration. Yeah. So then when you came back in 2000, October 2000, how different was the club then?
Well, it wasn't really that different. Simon Jordan had taken over, and it wasn't, I think it was only there 2 or 3 months before I arrived, so it wasn't a lot different. There's a lot of my good friends there. Leon McKenzie, was there. I played with young Leon the first time round, so there's a lot of people that I kind of knew. I was not in Forest. I got a phone call from Simon Jordan. He said, "Look, we've just bought you." Because it sounds crazy at the time, but there was no real big news about these things, or no tip-offs. It's literally your phone rings, you answer it. Simon Jordan, I bought the club, I want you to come back. I know you are this amount. I'll give you a little bit more. What do you think? And that was it. I just straight back. That day, in fact, in the car gone. And in fact, and I used to cherish. I don't really take a lot of souvenirs with me at all, but I really cherished my boots at the time. My boots were everything. I was a bit old school when it come to that. They'd come everywhere with me. And I remember just leaving them at Nottingham Forest and driving down the motorway and being more anxious about how I'm going to get my boots than actually how the day is. When I arrived, Simon Jordan was good. Alan Smith was a manager. About half the summer, the club just told me the project and what they were thinking and where they were. Clinton Morrison and Leo McKenzie were the duo at the time. Mikel Forsell, a little bit younger. And he just said, "Look, I want you to come in with a bit of experience and bring the qualities you bring." And that was it, really. We got off and running again.
How would you have described yourself as a striker? Because you weren't. I always describe you as like the Championship Bergkamp, like that kind of maybe just off the main striker role, skillful, scoring lots of goals. Yeah. How would you describe yourself?
Yeah, that'll do, Chris. I'll take that. That's you say I am, and that's. I wasn't. I kind of played the way I wanted to play, without really. I'm not a fantastic sort of reader of what other players do or what people think. I played my style and my way, and that upset a lot of managers, and that upset a lot of teammates. But then I just felt that's the only way I could play my way. At any given time, it's very interesting you say that, because my game was all about running in behind. And if you actually really watch it, that's where I scored a lot of goals, running in behind. I felt that I could have the intelligence in certain games to mix my game up, as you just say, come in and receive the ball with feet and play a little bit. But I really enjoyed the actual running in behind, which I was taught years and years ago by the great Don Howe. See, this is why I'm very eager for young players in the academy right now, really putting in an infrastructure and coaching, because I was a street kid from Glasgow that played, in the concrete, 4 or 5 hours every night. And when I come to QPR when I was 16, Don Howe would just come back from the World Cup, and he would take the youth team in the afternoons with Mike Kelly. They'd just come back from the World Cup, Chris. Just imagine, my feeling, getting taught by the great Don Howe when to make runs, how to make runs, how to always make the defender think. So I would describe myself as a maker and taker of goals, pretty much in that order. And that's what I kind of got a thrill of. I got a thrill out of if the defender stopped me, then I would make space for my teammates and create it that way.
So that season, the 2000-2001 season, wasn't great in the league, but had a good run in the League Cup. Do you have any good memories of that run?
I haven't, because I was in the stand. I couldn't play because I think I played for Nottingham Forest. Yeah, I think I played for Nottingham Forest in the early stages. But I can remember Stephen Thompson scoring a goal at Leicester, and I remember with a little winger, little Latvian kid. I remember him running a length of the park and scoring as well.
Rubens.
Rubens, that's it, good memory. So I told you my memory's not great. And I remember that. But that was affecting our league. It really was, because I think, and it often does that, Chris, and I think when we maybe got onto the Man United game, you know, and I really don't think a lot back, but I had to, you know, refresh my memory, because I knew you were going to ask me these questions. That when you have good cup runs, normally the league suffers, because the focus gets on to actually trying to win something rather than trying to win a league, which is, anyone will tell you, it's very difficult to go through the whole season. You know, the endurance you needed. So we were struggling in the league, if I can recall, and it was getting to a stage where I think everybody at the club was getting more excited about the cup rather than the league. And that's how we found ourselves at the bottom. And unfortunately, that's how we found ourselves. Alan Smith lost his job, which was very difficult to take, because he's a good man.
Yeah, so he lost his job, and then Steve Kember took over for the last 2 games of the season. You needed to win both of them. How did you approach a week like that?
That was my best week in football, because ever, and I don't think I'll ever, you know, it'll trump that, Chris, because you have a feeling that there's a goal or a challenge being set to you, and it's a very clear challenge. You've got to win 2 games. You've got to go to Portsmouth, you've got to go to Stockport, you won 2 games. And then you ask yourself, is it achievable? And you look around the dressing room, you think, yeah, I think it is. You know, Hayden Mullins and Clint Morris and David Hopkin and Jamie Smith, and you know, you think, yeah, this is achieved. Dean Austin was there. This is achievable. And then you start building a confidence slowly. Think to yourself, what are you going to bring to the party? And then you kind of think, well, I know if he's playing and he's playing, then I'll definitely bring this to the party. And then Stevie Kember's approach was very different from Alan Smith. Alan was a coach who spent a lot of time in training grounds. Stevie Kember was more of a manager who was, you know, give the players more responsibility, you know, make it very relaxed, very calm. Even if the outcome wasn't to swing your way, there would always be a feeling of love around the place. You know, kind of being there, seeing it and done it, Stevie Kember. So he kind of brought that in part as a manager. And he kind of relaxed his staff, Terry Bullivan, Victor Bertinelli. I remember, you know, these people also feeling more relaxed around the place, which spread into the team. Portsmouth by far was the best game that I've ever played. You know, I felt that with Akari Alati right behind me, you know, Stevie Kember played a very attack-minded team, Chris, very attack. And we just literally destroyed them, you know, from the first minute. You know, it was fantastic to play in. The wavelength that me and Clint were on that time. Me and Clint have spent, I don't know, 7 or 8 years knowing each other. Not always getting on with each other, you know, I'll be the first to say that. You know, his off-the-field life was different from mine. Nothing wrong with it. I'm not going to criticise it, it was a different way. But when we got on the pitch, there was just something like good wavelength, and that peaked in that particular moment, where I literally knew every single move that he was making, and vice versa. So we went there, we won the game easily. To be honest with you, that kind of gave us huge confidence, because that lifted us up off the top 3, Chris. And that gave us huge confidence to, all we've got to do is go to Stockport and win. Now, it's not as easy as that, but that was the feeling at the time. I can't remember anything else. I can't remember the cool down, the warm down. If it was up to Stevie Kember, we'd probably be in the cafe, baking sandwich and having a chat. Probably done that. And then off we go to Stockport, which wasn't a great game. You know, can't recall a lot of moments. I can recall a half time, you know, a few same bits and pieces what we think's needed. And I can remember still having the energy on a very hot day, that if the ball came to me, that I would, you know, I had the energy to do something. And I kind of feel that kind of game, it taught me a lot when I went into coaching, Chris, because it taught me that I was waiting for the right moments and saving my energy. And lucky enough, and I say lucky enough, I got the ball at the right time with the right energy to score a goal. But when I went into my coaching, the kind of players that I am and I coached, I wouldn't let them do that, because I felt that I'm not willing to wait till the last minute for the ball to arrive at your feet to win this game. So I'm going to put a little bit more structure and a little bit more emphasis on the team. rather than that luck. No luck. That moment I got the ball, I saved my energy, but it was a little bit too close to the wire for my liking. And then obviously after the game, there was a 3 or 4 minute spell where we didn't know quite where we were, and then we got the news. It went our way.
Yeah, have you watched the footage of that? Because the TV cameras were there, filming the fans in the stands with their massive radios or massive mobile phones, and then the celebrations in the dressing room after. Have you seen all of that?
Well, funny enough, because I only seen it for the first time about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I'm sure you're going to tell me it was anniversary or something like that. Somebody sent me a little clip, and at the first moment I thought, this is 5 minutes long. I haven't got 5 minutes of my life to sit and watch. But I pressed play, and it then sort of slowly I wore a smile by the end of the 5 minutes, because it did give me some good memories. And then you're right, in the dressing room afterwards, some old faces. But at the time, because see, I'm very much a private kind of guy, and at the time I went into the toilet, as I did at the Sheffield Wednesday, and just locked a cubicle and just sat there. Not actually in the toilet. Well, I was in the toilet, but not actually. But I just sat, locked a cubicle, and just listened to the noise. So I actually asked myself when I watched the little clip, where was I? And then I recall where I was, and I was very happy when the cameras were gone to come back out.
Yeah, because you ran straight down the tunnel, didn't you? At the end of the game, we've got that shot of you. You took one look around. It looks like you're in a film. You kind of take one look around at everyone and then disappear.
Yeah, the reason because I was near the dugout, because I remember I'd just come off of not a great story, but maybe 4 or 5 years earlier we were playing Millwall. I remember Dean Gordon scored a great goal and the crowd running on, but it was the Millwall crowd that ran on. I was right beside them. That stuck in my mind a little bit. So in that particular game, instincts take over. And I remember looking to Stevie Kember, and I was saying to him, what are we? What are we doing? And he was saying 1 minute, 1 minute, and I was saying, no, what's the other scores? And I was trying to interact with him a little bit, and the game was 30 seconds to go. So when they blew the final whistle, I thought I'll get down the tunnel and find out the other score, because that was the kind of job that had been done. I wanted to get and find the score. That's why I went straight into the toilet. Seeing Brian the kit man, I was saying to him, "Where's the radio?" He didn't have a radio, so we were just waiting for the noise to happen. That was how I found out.
But just going back to the goal, when you scored that, it's the 87th minute. Were you feeling then that? I mean, that's it. That's the game won.
Yeah, I did feel that. Yeah, I did. I was. When you're a forward-thinking player, you get your confidence from your defenders. That's where you get your real confidence. You know that if you score a goal, your defence can hold out, or if it's 0-0, you ain't going to concede. Even if you've missed a chance, you get confidence from that. So when I scored a goal in the to the Stockport game, I did think it was over. Yes, I did, because there's no confidence in sort of the goalkeeper at the time, Kalinko, and Hayden Mullins, and these people I was watching. So I had confidence we'd win the game. Yes, to answer, yes, I did.
Looking at their team actually on that day, they had Chef Kikuchi and Aaron Wilbraham up front. Yeah. I can't believe Wilbs is still going.
Yeah, I think. Listen, at the time I didn't know their team. I just remember this. What we'll share with you, Chris, and probably not. Well, people will know this, but they won't talk about it. 6 months later, because Stockport were desperate to put us down, and I mean that was a tough game. That wasn't an easy game. At Stockport last game, they had nothing to play for, but they were, pretty much in fifth gear until the last minute. And although as a sportsman you expect that, you also expect there's a little bit of feeling around the place that, you ain't played for nothing. We're fighting for our lives here. 3 months later, we played them again at Sellers Park, and we beat them 4-0. And I can remember really being up for that game. I can't remember if I scored or not, but I can remember really being up for the game and really rubbing into them and really making sure they remembered us. And that was the feeling I can remember from not just that game, but from Stockport, the team. The real anger towards them. 6 months, or whatever it was, 3 or 4 months later, we played them.
One of your teammates that day, Aki Riolati, we went out to Helsinki to film with him a few years ago. I know you two are quite good friends. All it I'm sure he cracks a joke with you the time. He likes saying that no one can understand what you're saying. Yeah. So he'll be pleased to see that you've got an English dictionary behind you there on your shelf.
Oh, yes. And French and Spanish. I told you the kids are at school, Chris. That's not mine, mate. That's for the kids.
But Aki, how good? Just tell me a bit about that friendship, because obviously you're both doing slightly different roles, but similar kind of roles at clubs.
Well, you know what? In football, which is very sad, in football, you go through 20-odd years, and in the end, which is very sad, you kind of get close to maybe a handful of players, if that, Chris, really if that, because, of course, when you see them, it's great memories, but you don't stay in contact because the competition in the end drives you away. Because although you're playing for the team, it drives you away from each other when you stop playing. But I'm glad to see Aki as one of the handful of people that I do, stay in touch with and very close to. And matter of fact, I heard a Palace fan a month ago say something to me that I've never heard before again. Never heard anybody say this, and probably never heard anybody say it again. I was talking to an older gentleman, over the phone a month ago and make sure he was okay, and, having a chat with him. And I just asked him, who's your favourite player? He'd watched the team for 60-odd years. I said, who's your favourite player? And I'm expecting Ian Wright, Mark Wright, Jim Cannon, these people, I might even get a mention here myself. I'm sort of waiting for it. And he said, Aki Riolati. And Chris at the time, I actually nearly fell off my chair. I've never heard it before. So I really was inquisitive to the fella. I said, you got to tell me why. Why? And he really spoke very passionate. And I said, right, hold the line. And I got Aki on the line. And I said, Aki, I'm going to put you on the line, a gentleman. He thinks you're the best ever Crystal Palace player. And I just want to know, do you know him? Is it your good friend? Is it a relation of yours? And I connected the two of them up. And I got a text from the fella saying he had a great time. And it was true. He was Aki's favourite player. So he wasn't only a good guy. He was, in some people's eyes, a good player as well.